2022, a woman moved into a small Seattle apartment and tried to enjoy the first quiet night in a place that finally felt like her own. She carried in boxes, made her bed, and met the man living upstairs when he came down smiling with a housewarming gift in his hands. He told her that the building was old, that safety mattered, and that a smart smoke detector would help her sleep better. She thanked him, believed him, and fixed the white device to the ceiling right above her bed before she turned off the light. For the first few weeks, nothing seemed strange enough to scare her. She heard footsteps above her at odd hours, but old buildings always made sounds, and she wanted to believe this one was normal. Then she started waking in the middle of the night with the heavy feeling that someone had been watching her for a long time. She would open her eyes, stare at the ceiling, and notice a tiny red blink coming from the detector. She told herself it was just a battery light, yet the room never felt empty after that. She began changing clothes in the bathroom, and she started sleeping with a blanket pulled up to her throat, even on warm nights. The man upstairs stayed friendly in the hallway, and that made everything worse. He asked if she was settling in, if she was sleeping well, and if the detector was working the way it should. He spoke too casually, as if he already knew the answer before she opened her mouth. She laughed it off, but her stomach tightened every time he looked at her bedroom door. She told one friend that the neighbor gave her a strange feeling, though she had no proof and felt embarrassed saying it out loud. Fear sounded childish in daylight, but at night it became solid and sat with her in the dark. After about 6 months, she came home early from work because she felt sick. As she stood outside her apartment, she heard a faint voice coming from inside her room. Even though she had left no television on, she stepped in quietly and followed the sound to a cheap tablet hidden inside an open kitchen drawer. On the screen, she saw her own bedroom from above, filmed from the exact spot where the detector hung over her bed. She froze, then looked up so fast that she nearly fell backward. The blinking light was not a battery warning. It was a live camera feeding every private moment in that room to someone else. She called the police while shaking so badly that she could hardly speak. Officers removed the device and found a micro camera and microphone packed into the detector casing. They traced the wireless feed to the upstairs apartment. Inside, they found recordings saved by date, hundreds of hours long, showing her sleeping, dressing, crying, and talking on the phone when she believed no one could hear. They also found folders labeled with names from women who had lived in that same apartment before her. Some files were old, some were recent, and some women had never known they were being watched at all. The police arrested the neighbor, and detectives said he had built the camera himself and used it to watch from directly above her through the floor. The case was horrifying on its own, but one detail made even the detectives stop and replay the evidence. On the night officers moved in to arrest him, the microphone inside the detector was still recording. It picked up her empty bedroom for several minutes after she had already fled the apartment. Then it captured a soft male whisper from inside the room, low and calm, as if someone had leaned close to the bed and spoken to a sleeping person. The neighbor was upstairs at that moment, surrounded by police, and no officer had entered her bedroom yet. Investigators never explained who made that sound, and the recording ended with 3 slow taps from the side of the bed. The woman moved out the next day, but she later told detectives the worst part was not the camera, the files, or even the months of stolen privacy. She said the worst part was learning that her fear had been correct every single night, because someone really had been there with her in the dark. And when the police checked the final video one more time, they saw the bed sink down slightly, as if someone had just sat beside her.